starting a little late because it was such a great show, but Money in the Bank in the record.
Yes.
Now it's done. It was great. It was great. And we'll talk about what we graded and all of that. But Luis Ruiz is here. What were your overall thoughts, though? It's pretty great.
It was awesome. That was a great.
It was off the charts. It was so great.
Yeah.
Off the chart. But
I think they did a great job with
I thought it was just phenomenal, and it was almost like every single match, except maybe one or two, had another added wrinkle to it at the end of it. Like something happened, which was great. But let's get into it. Money in the Bank started right off with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I thought was great. And to me, I was already thinking, okay, it's at the beginning. This has to be because something may happen later in the show. And the crowd in London couldn't have been hotter. I mean, they were just so loud. And of course, they chant incessantly. See what I'm saying?
It was very similar to Puerto Rico when I was there. That's what it felt like.
So we had Shinsuke Nakamura, Logan Paul, Ricochet, Santos Escobar, Butch, Damian Priest, LA Knight in the Money in the Bank. First of all, there were some great spots in the match. The one with Logan crashing his head into the table and then ultimately
you can tell the Ricochet was like kind of like he was like, all right, we're falling, so I should throw you backwards and see what happens, because it was like Logan was struggling to get back up on top of the rope, because you could tell they were supposed to stop on the rope and then flip, but Logan fell right through. Ricochet was fine. Ricochet got it. Logan completely missed the rope.
No, and then his shoulder was all cut up.
Yeah, from the table.
The table, but I thought his head. They kept saying his head, and so I thought it was his head.
He turned. He got to turn. He turned a little bit. Yeah.
So you're watching the match, and it was very clear. LA Knight is the favorite for the crowd, which he's been for the past two nights from SmackDown and on in London. He's had all the heat on him in the press. He's had this story. And he does not win. And it goes to Damian Priest, who Luis and I had been talking over the series of episodes we've done that we love Damian, and he was your pick from the very beginning. And I was agreeing with you, especially coming out of Backlash. So when it got time to the match tonight, who were you rooting for?
So it got to the point where like when I saw Priest come out, because like I love the Judgment Day entrance and all that, like I was like, all right, I want Priest to win. And then you hear the crowd with LA Knight, and then every time he steps foot in the ring, the crowd just goes crazy for no reason. He's not even doing anything. And so I was like, as a fan, I was like, I want to see LA Knight win because I just want to hear the crowd erupt. But then like that's why I was like, all right, I kind of want. I think LA Knight deserves this. And then we get to see what happened. Nakamura and Ricochet and Santos, I was like, all right, that's it. He won. And then Damian Priest's hand comes up out of nowhere. But I texted you. It was upsetting a little bit, but at the same time, I love it. I think it's a hard decision because of the way that the fans were, but I think it was the right decision for the story moving forward. It creates a lot of layers that you can do with, obviously, like we saw later in the show.
Right, which is when that happened. But I literally was, the heat was so, everybody was rooting for LA Knight and his story and like just how they propped him up. So in the post show, I don't know if you saw this, the post show press conference, Triple H came out and they asked him about LA Knight. And his answer was, all good things come to those who wait, which kind of pissed me off. It was like,
wait for what?
That's your answer? How long are you supposed to wait? Like, as someone who's old, how long are you supposed to wait?
And I'm not sure if you saw LA Knight did a podcast and they asked him like about something about how over he is, and he was like, if he hears it, and he goes, yeah, but some people don't have ears. So I don't know if that was like kind of a shade towards them. Yeah.
Yes, and some people don't have ears, to your point. I was looking on Twitter, on social media afterwards, and people said exactly the quote. Some people don't have.
It's true. It really is true.
It
I
is
don't know how you
very
don't pull
true.
that trigger. I don't get it.
I
As
don't
much
get
as I don't mind Priest winning, I don't know how as a company you don't see that this guy would bring a lot of ratings and merchandise sales and all this stuff towards your company. I don't get it.
And when he was asked the question on this press conference tonight, Triple H, he was basically, like I said, he said, August can come to wait. You know, there's more to this kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Cody.
It's for Cody, more to the story.
Yeah.
Finish the story. But it really was and I was thinking, and one of the things we've talked about over the time we've talked is I thought, would they call an audible and just change it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you could see what was going on, how everybody was behind him.
Mhm.
And so that was really disappointing. But to your point, the minute Priest got it, I'm like, oh, okay. We are gonna go. We are gonna
I was
have
just happy it was one of those two. You know, if I saw someone else win, I'd be like, "Guys, it's dumb." So it as long as it wasn't Logan, because I thought there was a chance Logan was gonna win that because there were
I
some.
think
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw that there was a lot of backstage. Supposedly, the networks were pushing for Logan to win for the ratings and the followers that he brings, and that Triple H was like, "No way!" Like Triple H was completely against it. So that was never gonna happen with him in charge.
right. The only thing I can say is so as this was going unfolding, and I was either like, it's gonna be LA Knight, is what I basically thought was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I didn't even think Priest had a chance, even though we originally had predicted Priest.
Mhm.
And I figured, just like what we had talked before, Logan was in there just for the acrobat, for the big maneuvers, for the big spots,
Him and Ricochet. Yeah.
and Ricochet, which is what I think they were there
Yeah.
for. I mean,
Yeah. That's all they were there for.
right. The minute he won, Damian, I thought, great. So now he's going to screw Finn Balor. That's the story, because already, and then we'll get to that in a minute. But to kind of have that go nowhere, it didn't really. I would have
Tonight, yeah.
I would have taken that opportunity and really done something with it. If you're going to have him win, and his Judgment Day partners in the match against Seth, either have him, go after Seth and cash in, or if you have Finn win and then have him cash in.
That's what I'm hoping, because that's because now that like we'll talk about later, but Seth wins, it doesn't really it kind of goes backwards for a little bit, because now it's like, yeah, he has the money in the bank, but this feud with Balor's not going to go anywhere because he has nothing to fight him for. That's why, right after the match ended, I was like, all right, maybe they're just waiting for SummerSlam and they want him to win it on a bigger stage, so Balor wins in SummerSlam and then he does it, on a bigger pay-per-view, bigger stage. So we'll see where that goes. But storyline wise, I'm very excited for Priest to have it. I think he deserves it. I'm excited for him to eventually win it.
Right. I could see him really winning it. And in the post-show press conference, they interviewed Damian. He was there. They brought up him and Finn, and he kind of played it off like, we're okay. We've got some problems between us, but we're okay. Like, he didn't really emphasize it. So to me, it's going to break down.
Eventually.
A breakdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
LA Knight thing, I think, is really bad.
I think it's very unfortunate.
Very bad on the WWE. I'm sorry. It's like,
I don't think I think you have to pull the trigger on him just as a company standpoint. But in my eyes, if he's not holding the U.S. Championship by SummerSlam, I think they've messed up, because he's gonna die. It's not gonna die out, but people are gonna get tired of the fact that you're not pushing somebody that we want to see. Like, it's always WWE's thing. It's like, oh yeah, we're not gonna push him because it's unpredictable. But it's like, that's what the fans want. Like, how long has it been since the fans got exactly what we wanted? Like, for once, just give us something that we want to see. Is a guy that's not supposed to be that good in the ring, proves everybody wrong, is great on the mic, and he gets nothing out of it. He has to wait.
And to that point, I was reading another thing online about Austin Theory, how he seems to have fizzled. It seems kind of like there's like it went from beating John Cena, which was that awkward match that I really didn't like at WrestleMania at all, to not really.
And it's crazy when you think about it, because that Cena promo that he had, it was true. Theory wins, Cena wins, he loses everything, and Theory wins, he still loses everything. That's exactly what happened. People just got tired of him. Like no one cares. That's exactly what he was right. He's not. He's very boring.
It's very boring.
I think I gotta take it off of him.
They need to take it off him. He needs a whole new repackaging. Honestly, I say go baby, but I don't know. Like either
Total
go
babyface.
total baby face.
And the way the crowd reacts to him, and because me and my uncle were talking about it, I think he's very similar to the way the crowd reacts to Guevara, because I think they're both very good in the ring, but the crowd just doesn't like them, and they're very like arrogant and annoying and like over pushed. So the crowd's just gonna revolt against him no matter what. Like he doesn't need the U.S. Championship to have that,
right.
to be like that.
What I also don't get about this whole thing with LA Knight was there was such major press for him. They had him doing so much major press for this Money in the Bank that you have your guy out there doing press. You got brand new T-shirt. Your guy out there doing Money in the Bank interviews, big interviews, international interviews, and then you just that's it.
Yeah, I don't agree unless they're they're not going to. But I was like, unless they want, he can still feud with Roman, but that's never gonna happen. So it doesn't really matter. So
well, according to Triple H, there's a big push coming. I don't know what that is going to be. And what if Logan Paul? That's my other question. So now where does he go from here with WWE?
I think
you're frozen.
I
didn't hear you. Say it again.
I said I think they're setting up a Logan and LA Knight SummerSlam match. That's what I've heard, and that's what I think they're setting up. Well, because they were only feuding with each other during the the matches and the interviews and stuff. So I think they're gonna. I wouldn't mind. I think that's a cool match to have at SummerSlam. It's like a big megastar match. Hopefully, LA Knight's going over, but we'll see.
All right. Well, then this was completely shocking. So it was really
made no sense.
Okay. So here's what happens. You know how we watch matches, right? And you're like, oh, I gotta grab my water.
That was me.
It was me.
That was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm watching match. I go, I gotta get a drink. And I'm literally get a drink. I come back and she's strangling the hell out of Shayna Baszler as like turned on Ronda Rousey. She's strangling her. I'm like, wait, and I'm going, oh shit, what did I miss? What did I miss? And I realized I didn't miss anything. She just started.
It was out of nowhere. It was like tag in, chokehold. I was like, what is going on?
So I missed that part. She actually tagged her and she came in and
Rousey tagged in. She's going to beat up Liv, and then she just ran in the ring and choked her out. It didn't make like yeah, it's cool to be unpredictable and stuff, but it made no sense. Like why go into the match and almost win 3 times and then do it? Like, you know what I mean? Like
right. And they were and tell me unless I missed this because I'm old, but were they? I didn't see any like problem before that, right?
No, there was no like even like a look. There was not even a look. There's nothing. Never. There was the most unpredictable turn I've ever seen. It made no sense. It was out of nowhere.
But isn't this like the third time in the women's thing somebody's turned on their partner and
that's all they do.
That's all they do. Trish
did it. I mean,
they all did it.
And like listen. At the same time, I did think Liv was gonna win because they never lost their titles and they're very over. Liv is very over. She's like internationally very huge now. So I knew they were gonna want to give it back to them. So I guess Rousey not losing clean, but I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. I guess they're setting up a one-on-one. I guess
obviously, but my question is: are we now putting Ronda back as a babyface? Have to be.
That's what I'm seeing because they could have had Rousey do it, but they probably want to push Rousey as a face again.
I liked her better as a face, kind of. I don't know. I don't know where to go.
I just think the crowd is so tired of
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was just like shock out of nowhere and made no sense. So in the post conference, they had Liv Morgan and Rodriguez, and one of the reporters asked, "What did you think of that?" And Liv was like, "I was shocked. I don't know if it's and Rodriguez like, I don't know if it's frustration building, but we were really happy that we got them more frustrated." And then Liv was like, "Yeah, I don't know what happened. You saw my face. I was shocked."
And it's funny because there was a lot of rumors saying that it was going to be the opposite. It was actually going to be Raquel turning on Liv. That was what everyone said was going to happen. Everyone said that they were going to turn on each other, and because it's been they've been together for a while, but they flipped it last. I don't know when they decided that.
Well,
Or
no. The way this goes is every 3 weeks the partner flips. So now Rodriguez will flip on. I see Rodriguez turning heel and flipping on Liv.
that's what I thought was going to happen because she needs. I think Raquel needs to change her character a little bit because she's a little boring. I think Liv's awesome. She's great. I think she's great in the ring. She's so improved. And
Liv's your
so
hometown girl.
hometown girl. She took a picture with me. She reposted on Instagram.
Let's talk about that. She's your hometown girl.
She's 20 minutes from here. 20 minutes from where we live.
Is she? So tell me what it was like. Now, have you met her the one time?
In San Juan, yeah.
And how was she
She was
there?
the nicest person. Like,
wait, you're frozen.
oh, I am now, or still? Or I'm good.
Okay, you live more.
Yeah, no, she's super cool. I told her I was from Jersey. She reposted the picture on Instagram. Like, I was like in love.
Oh, is she super tiny?
She's like 5'1". She makes me feel like I'm 6 foot.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad
I'm not tall.
I'm glad to hear that she was nice.
She was awesome, and so was Raquel. Raquel was great too. She was super nice.
And that's when you were doing press in San Juan?
Yeah. So I told my friends I could say that I interviewed the Money in the Bank winner, Damian Priest. I have an interview with him.
Well, Lloyd, no, not just an interview. It's a great interview. Your interview with Damian. So Luis sends me texts me, and I'm like, what? And it was great. I mean, now talk about tall. He was like,
oh my God. I was like this. I had to hold it like this.
You're like this, but he was great.
Yeah, he was awesome. He's super cool. He's super nice. That's why that's honestly part of that is why I wanted him to win, because he's super down to earth. Like, he deserves that and more mainstream attention, which he's gonna get now. So
100%. All right.
Yeah.
So now we get Gunther and Matt Riddle. So I have to tell you, so this match in my head has no real interest for me other than I really like Gunther. And I never for one moment thought Matt Riddle was going to defeat Gunther. So I'm like, okay, it's great. And the crowd was really into Gunther.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Of course, he's great. And then we get the match. And then, of course, now Drew McIntyre returns.
Was not expecting it to return for that match. I thought he was going to be a bigger thing, but I guess it does set up a monster Intercontinental Championship match for SummerSlam, which is going to be awesome. So, the crowd went crazy. I kind of felt like he was going to be there. We both did. I just didn't know how they were going to do it. And I thought that was a cool way for him to do it. Just come out.
Yeah, I just thought there was going to be, I would have brought him back with a big heel turn and had him. I was like waiting for that at that moment. Like, is he going to join Imperium?
That's why it's weird, because like a lot of people like Drew, and then Gunther's supposed to be a face, but he's so good the crowd cheers him no matter where he is. So it's like a face versus face, basically. That's like what you're getting.
Well, that's the weird thing about Gunther. He's supposed to be a heel, you mean?
He's supposed to heel, but everyone loves him. So
but everyone loves him because they're like, yay.
He's so good, yeah. So
he's such a good wrestler. They're like, yay.
And I can see Drew being the one to end his reign. I can. So I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I just feel like they would have, if they're taking him off TV and they had to do contract negotiations or whatever was going on, I just find it odd when you're away for that long.
To bring him back in the exact same.
Yeah, like that to me isn't a great creative decision. Like, when you have an opportunity, like with a CM Punk or anybody that's been off for a long time, you have an opportunity to come back and switch things up.
Yeah, he came back in the exact same gimmick. Same gimmick he's been doing for the past 5 years.
I still love your idea.
I wish. It would be perfect.
But wait, I think that can happen. We get Priest leaving the Judgment Day. McIntyre swerves and ends up back there. I don't know why he would go there though, but so I didn't love the match because I wasn't invested in Riddle. There was no and
I do like Riddle a lot.
I do too.
He's trying to still find his footing since being back without Randy, which is like you could tell he's still struggling.
He is struggling. I felt that too. Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio. I don't know.
Listen, I 100% didn't think Dom was gonna win, but I didn't think Cody was gonna just win clean like that. It. What does Dom get out of that? And what does Cody get out of that? Cody gets nothing out of that. Nothing, like all he gets is that his wrist isn't broken anymore. That's all he gets.
That he didn't actually hurt himself, but then he came backstage in the press conference. I'm sorry, afterwards in the press conference and said he hurt his back. So I'm like, okay.
But I thought they were gonna set up. I thought they were gonna set up the third match, which they're gonna set up eventually for Brock and Cody, but he wasn't there. So I guess
well, I think Brock Cody's SummerSlam.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna set that third one up today. Brock comes out, it cost him the match, but nothing. Just a clean Cody win.
This just didn't seem like anything other than just tons of Cody love. And I don't
It was
know.
just Cody. It was just for Cody to get on the mat, to get on the card, and for Dom, I guess, to get more exposure with a
One of
high-profile
the
match.
funniest moments though happened with the announce team. So he leaves, Dominic goes into the crowd.
Yeah.
And the announcer goes something like he's got lots of people there that like him or something. And then goes like, who likes him? Who?
Yeah.
No, you know, that there was some really fun banter about him, like all his fans, and he has none. And then of course, Rhea Ripley really had nothing to do.
That's two pay-per-views in a row where she doesn't have a. Well, she had the last one, but she beat Natalia in 10 seconds, and she's fighting Natalia on Monday.
I died. I'm like, I died. I was like, oh my God, Luis is gonna die. Like I literally died when they put up the card and on Monday.
Makes no sense. I don't understand. Like, what are they setting up?
Natalia, just throw her in.
Do they just not have anybody on Raw for Rhea? Is that just what it is? They don't have anyone that they like?
Yeah. Like,
who is she gonna fight at SummerSlam?
Can I ask another question? What is the purpose of Bianca Belair right now? What is that?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there.
I don't understand that. Okay. So that was like, okay, great. Yay, Cody, finish the story. What is the story and what are we finishing? I don't know. So then
he did, and he mentioned that as well, and says winning the World Heavyweight Championship is cool, but it's not finishing the story. So they're gonna continue with that. Somehow they're gonna incorporate it back full circle, but I don't know how. I really don't.
And what's really terrible about it, unfortunately, is when we were at WrestleMania, it was a great match, Cody and Roman.
Awesome.
And it just was like, I was just like left there, like with my mouth open, like, okay, well, what happens to him?
Yeah.
All right. Then, shocker of shocks, your boy, John Cena,
just shows up out of nowhere.
Shows up out of nowhere. This is another one. I went to get water and I'm hearing the music and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then he comes out and he was great.
He chanted his whole song.
They chanted his whole song and they were like and he said how they used to hate him and then they liked him and they weren't chanting. And they were so into him. And then the whole thing, I mean, he was really coming out to prop up WWE in London, right? And
he's like, it sucks for me because obviously I love him and I wish he could. He's not like the crowd chanting. He has plenty of matches left that he can wrestle. He just doesn't have the time to do it. Like he's not like 60 and retiring. Like he could easily wrestle more. That's what gets me frustrated because he comes out and does stuff like this, but he came out just for, a little surprise. I saw that I was confused on why, because I was like, there's no way he flies all the way to London just to come out and do that. But he was filming a show in London. I didn't know that. So he just probably drove by 20 minutes and
it's probably like, hey, are you in London? Can you come out?
That's exactly
I'm sure that was what, and then they built that into it.
Yeah, he was filming a show 20 minutes away from the arena. That's what I heard.
Right. And I did too. And what I thought was great though, it's really interesting. Like watching him work the crowd in that little segment was really emotional. Like he was great.
Yeah.
He was just so great.
It's just crazy. Like when you think about it, like when you see the way the crowd is with him, and as a fan of him, I used to be so frustrated that everyone loved him. And then The Rock came back and everyone hated him for 5 years. And then everyone, I think everyone starts to realize that he really is like, I don't know. I think he's the GOAT, but that's just my opinion. So I think the crowd is starting to realize
I was very, for some reason, just seeing him there and how he played to the crowd and what he said was the emotional part of the night. I thought it was just you know, like he said, I'm here because I know when they play those trumpets, people watch and people listen. I'm here to
It's
try to
true.
WrestleMania
Yeah.
to London. I mean, it's so true. And I
Yeah.
just remembered like, and then you watch just like when you were a little kid and all these other kids, you watch them as in the crowd there, he's still their guy. They just were so
Yeah. And
like
it's funny because we were talking. You mentioned that we were talking about how me and my uncle were talking about Cody and about how we don't understand, like how he's like a lot of little kids like him. Like my little brother's a huge wrestling fan. He's 7 years old, and if you ask him who his favorite wrestler is, it's Cody. And we were saying how like my other friend who was here was saying how in AEW those fans started turning on Cody a little bit towards the end. And my uncle said, "Well, when the kids like you, they like you forever." And it's true because like he was like, he pointed at me. He's like, "Look at me. I still like John Cena, and I liked him when I was 5 years old." So that never changed. So these kids grow up and they don't change. They love these guys. So we were saying how it's like the same situation.
no, and like I'm gonna have my friend. So my little friend who I call Mini Me, when I first met him, he was 7 years old and he was on my show. He's a huge WWE fan, wrestling fan, and a soap fan, but he's really big WWE and he knows everything. And now he's probably maybe 10, 11, something like that. His favorite was John Cena. That's all, even now,
Yeah.
John Cena, it's not anyone now, it's John Cena.
No, yeah. Yeah. And it'll always be. It'll always be my favorite. That's like every retires, that's it. But I'm not gonna like love a wrestler anymore.
And
It's just gonna be him.
and then what I didn't I mean, I didn't love the Grayson Waller thing because I thought, oh, here we go. Felt very predictable. He's gonna, punk, tear down the legend. I prop him up, and I just didn't want it to be another prop up. So are they gonna set up a match now with those two? Or is it
I
just
don't think so. Yeah, I think it was just
you know?
it was like when Elias used to come out and do that to people.
Right.
But all I gotta say, they're giving Waller these legends to talk to. He's talking to Edge on Friday, which is gonna be here in MSG, which is gonna be crazy. I'm trying to go. I don't know yet. It's a little expensive.
Oh, where is it gonna be?
Madison Square Garden.
Oh, right.
It's the first live SmackDown in MSG in years, like years. But tickets are more expensive to go there than SummerSlam.
I bet.
Yeah,
I
New
bet.
York. It's gonna be crazy. And there's rumors that Carlito might debut there.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I was just gonna go back though to Grayson Waller. I mean, obviously he knows how to work the mic and talk and do everything.
Yeah.
He's really good.
We saw him in when I interviewed him at WrestleMania. He called me I forgot what he said, but he was like really character.
What I remember about him is us talking about that he won't break character. He's the same
Yeah.
as and that was frustrating me, but I didn't interview him. So I was
Yeah,
like,
I did. Yeah.
you did, which was
Yeah.
good. I thought the John Cena thing was pretty cool, and it was really interesting. I had a very different reaction to him this time for some reason. I don't know, it was what he said or the crowd but I was like, he's so like, it reminded me of the greatness of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't him losing
Yeah.
a match to somebody.
Yeah, I agree. Like that, at least it wasn't that. I thought for a second I was like, oh, maybe he'll set up a match at SummerSlam, because they want to get all the big dogs. But I don't think he's gonna be doing anything.
So then we had, which was actually very good too, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Great spots.
Great spots. I was so impressed because I was wondering if it was going to be just a clunky mess, but it was amazing. And I was hoping for what happened, but then I thought, well, maybe Becky, we had Bayley, Becky Lynch, Zelina Vega, Io Sky, Trish Stratus, and Zoe Stark. So when the match was going on, what did you think was going to happen?
The way I thought of it, and then nothing changed. I was like, all right, Zoe Stark, Trish, and Becky are gonna cancel each other out because they're feuding. So that's just how it's gonna. They're not gonna win. They don't need it. They're finishing their own feud. And then you have Bayley who doesn't need it. She doesn't need it. And then I just didn't think Zelina was ready. I honestly thought Io was the only person to win that match, and she did. So that's where I was the whole match, and that's how it stayed.
I was 100% for Io from the very beginning when they announced this. I said,
we have our messages from Backlash. Right when that match ended, you texted me and said she has to win Money in the Bank. And that's exactly who it had to be.
And I was hoping, though, which didn't happen, I was hoping for a full turn of between Io and Bailey, and
Yeah,
they went
like a
down
little
to the
bit. You
end
got a little bit.
a little bit, but then in the post press conference, they were there together
Yeah.
celebrating, and I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't.
I just gotta say that ending was like one of the most creative. I loved it. It was
I
hilarious.
loved it. The best.
And I loved it. Like after all the replays, all that stuff, and they're still there with their hands in the middle, just sitting there because they can't move. It was hilarious to me. It was great.
To me, that was one of the most creative finishes I've ever seen. So I want to give props to whatever, agent we call them,
Producer,
producer, agent. They're usually called agents who worked that match with the girls.
Yeah,
but
it was great.
Having them handcuffed to be.
It was awesome. Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I got a great idea."
Yeah.
But that somersault backflip off
awesome. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know any female that has gotten the height on those things that she does.
The only other one is Charlotte. That's the only other person that does a great moonsault. That's it. There's only her and Io.
And that brings me back one more second to Cody. I also kind of do, the one thing I like about Cody is the Cody cutter and Crossroads. They're both great finishers.
The cutter is like my favorite move right now. I love it. It's
I can't believe I'm like, oh, I really like.
No, I love that move. It's like awesome. It's like super. The way that he gets a lot of height on it too, and like the guy will be in the middle of the ring, and he'll jump all the way backwards.
You almost missed this. He got half of his head. Like,
yeah.
Good on Io Sky. So to me, that was the right call to push the right person.
Yeah, we got one of them.
We got one. And Damian, which is both.
Yeah, and Damian, yeah.
And both were at. Wait, was Io at Backlash?
That was the day that she lost.
That was the big one. Yeah. So I think Backlash changed.
Like I told you, we had our first episode. We said after Backlash that they probably saw that solidified her as Money in the Bank. They saw it.
She is definitely. She's going to be
like the it factor that.
Yep. And the crowd loves her. Crowd loves her.
Yeah. No, they do.
So my question for you: whose title is she going to take?
I think what I think is going to play out. I personally think Charlotte's going to end up beating Asuka for the championship, and then I think she's going to catch it on Charlotte. And then that's what I think. But like we said, I don't know where Bianca stands on the whole thing.
I was going to tell you. So what I think is Charlotte's going to wrestle Asuka. Bianca's going to come out and interfere in the match.
Then she's going to come cash in.
Bianca is going to screw Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because she wants the shot at what's her face. She'll screw her out of it. That'll be the villain. That'll be the heel turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess she'll go with Asuka. I don't know. Then where's she go?
Because I don't think she's going to cash in on Raw. But they're on Raw, right?
Well,
she's going to cash in on.
To your point, I still see a lot of crisscrossing going on. So I'm really confused, like who's really where. But
yeah, so Damage Control's on Raw.
So then she should go.
So that means she should be going after Rhea, which I don't know. I don't know how you take the belt off Rhea. That's the only thing. Like I don't know what they're gonna do there. They're in a weird. I just hope they hold it for a little bit because they usually do these quick cash-ins that like I think is dumb. Like I like when guys hold it for like a year and then cash in.
I'm 100%. I agree. I was thinking same thing you were. Other than, I really loved my idea of like having Damian come today and screw up that match.
Yeah. No, I like that they kind of teased it, but I was like, they're probably not going to do it. I don't mind Seth winning just because of the fact that that's his first like televised one that like at a pay-per-view. So, good for him. But I would have liked to see Finn get a little more like near falls in. I feel like he didn't look that strong.
I didn't love the match. Where we had, and Seth. So of course they're singing him off for like 30 minutes. Seth singing him on. I didn't love the match, and I thought Finn was going to be more terrorizing.
Yeah, it felt like a match like on Raw. That's just what it felt like to me. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view match.
And then Priest comes out, and I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
But then he just said at the press conference too, I just want to intimidate Seth.
Yeah.
he ended up costing Finn the match.
Yeah.
So it's
Like,
got, and
that's
how are
why
they?
I don't get. That's why, like in storyline wise, I don't get why he stood up when Finn went to do his like what he stand up for. Like he was laying down Rollins, so he didn't even look at you. That's why I don't really get it. It was dumb. It was a dumb decision in my opinion.
To me, it was like, go for it. I know we want to build to Damian Priest, but I was like, do it tonight.
Yeah.
Have Finn win. Have him.
See, that's the thing. I only want Damian to win if Finn is the champion. So
Right.
I think Finn needs to win. I think Finn needs to win at SummerSlam. I think they need to extend the pay-per-view, the feud for one more. I just feel bad because it's like if Priest cashes in and wins, then like what, Rollins doesn't get another championship for like 3 years again. So it's like
It
what
can't
are they
be.
doing here?
It can't
Yeah.
be. But the only way to further the story is to have Finn win or Finn lose his shot because Damian went in and cashed in.
Yeah, I agree.
Completely have those two have a falling out the Judgment Day, and they recruit somebody else if it's not Drew McIntyre.
The guy, I think they're gonna bring in the guy McDonough. That's what they keep teasing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they'll do. All right. So that happens, and then we get the Civil War.
The best match of the night.
The best match of the night. And I'm sitting here, and going back 1 second, what was Paul Heyman's crying speech about?
That was the one.
He's crying because Roman's going to squash the brothers, and he just can't. It's going to be so upsetting.
He can't bear to watch.
Sure. Yeah, I couldn't believe the theatrics in that were amazing, and I wanted to give Paul Heyman an Oscar because
like the best thing was like during the match because we were just talking about Paul Heyman's facial expressions, and then Roman's like they're beating them up, and it just cuts to Heyman like crying, and I was dying laughing. I was like, "This is awesome! This is hilarious."
So I'm watching this go down between Uso, Solo Sikoa, and Roman, and it multiple times with the camera shots. I've got to give it to also, when you're producing a live show, these guys are so on it. They get these shots. You're doing a live show of the faces, like everything is so done for us at home to, bring you.
You really don't, like we said about like you're saying right now, like we said about Backlash. Rewatching it, I was able to experience it. Like when you're live, it's cool to be there, but you miss out on all the facial expressions, the story, the feeling. You don't see any of that. You don't see it at all. So, watching it at home really has a benefit. It really does.
I 100%. I think you do not feel the story and the intimacy of the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're in an arena, which is great. You're with all these people, but you're not hearing the announce. You're not seeing anything. You're seeing it up on a screen or looking at a ring.
Yeah.
The only way the story plays out is through camera angle switching and seeing the reactions, because we can't see that. And so that is what is the brilliance of Roman Reigns. Like, again, I couldn't tell you how great he was. He just was watching his he gets so I was like, holy God, this guy is so
like, I can't believe it's the same guy that wrestled like the past 5 to 10 years. It's crazy. Like I guess we'll just get to it. How shocked were you when he got pinned? What did you think?
Wait, I got to go back one thing before we get there, because I couldn't wait to talk to you about this. I was sitting there going, oh my God, I didn't want to, because I thought you were seeing, like, I didn't want to bother you during it.
Yeah.
First of all, do you remember the moment when he was literally Roman, like crying in the ring? He's like, oh,
yeah. After they beat him up,
so great. It's like, that was so great. So when it was coming to the end, at the moment that they tagged and was Jay coming up, didn't Jay come off the rope? I was like, at that second, I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, Jay's gonna win, because that sets up Jay Roman Universal title.
I think Jay needs to win. I think Jay should win. That's it. I seriously think Jay needs to
wait. The other thing that was, to me, was a little bit of a tip-off. If you recall, when they brought Roman out for the match, they're like, he hasn't lost a match in 3.5 years. So when he loses, they're like, he's lost a match for the first time in 3.5 years. That's a monumental thing that they just started to do. They have not pinned Roman.
I just don't. I thought it was awesome. I was shocking. Me and we like jumped out of our chair, whatever. But do you think as a fan and watching it, it was a smart decision to waste that on a non first pin should have been for the titles? You know what I mean? I don't like. Was it worth it? Do you think it was worth it?
Now, I kind of feel what you're saying. It kind of, is it going to diminish
when eventually he loses? Yeah.
When he eventually loses, is it diminish the legacy of Roman? The only thing I can say is it makes sense if you're gonna set up Roman J for a title.
That I agree. That it's set now. That ending solidifies your SummerSlam match. It's gonna be Roman and Jay no matter what.
But if it's Roman and Jay, but my only question, I was feeling, would it be Roman and Jay at SummerSlam, or would they put that off?
No, I think it has to be, because think about it. After SummerSlam, you don't have another big four until Survivor Series, and that's a while from now. So you're not gonna wanna. Roman's probably not gonna work like Payback, that's in September, or these Fastlane and Extreme Rules. He's probably not gonna do those.
But my hope from our last was, I kept thinking they're gonna wait till next year's WrestleMania in April and have Jay, but they can't now.
Cody's gonna be in WrestleMania main event for the championship, 100%. We just don't know how it's gonna get there.
He's got to tell the story.
And the fact that they keep saying it, that they're not gonna go away from that. That's Cody has to win it. He has to. That's why I think that they're doing all this bloodline stuff, because I thought they were gonna drag this out, like you said, but they had Sammy and them turn. That's over with. I didn't think the Usos were going to turn that quick. They turned last pay-per-view. Now you have Jay win. It's very quick and rapid that I think there's a shot that Jay wins at SummerSlam. I really think there is.
And I think there's a shot that Solo Sikoa interferes in that match.
We're still waiting.
Jay and helps.
We're still waiting on. He's going to turn, and it's going to keep going. He's going to turn. It's going to keep unraveling. That's what's going to happen.
Which is a beautiful story. Like, that's a great story. Like, I love the complete unraveling. That's the only justice for this Roman.
And I gotta say that the kick out into the low blow was one of the most creative things, like the Money in the Bank finish. I've never seen. I was like, oh my god, I've never seen that before.
Thank you for bringing that up. It was so great.
That was awesome.
There was another thing, because if you heard the announcing, they're like, we didn't catch it the first time. And then they go back.
I didn't even realize like that's what they were going after until I was like, wait, I think he just hit him in the balls. So I was like, oh my God.
Brilliant.
I was like,
another like really smart. Like that was really smart.
The one thing, this is and for anyone watching, this is not a shot towards AEW. But part of the reason why I love WWE so much, like I said, like also this story is like one of the best stories ever. The way the match was, it was so slow. Roman getting out of the ring, not fighting, barely, and then the ending sequence means so much more than like when I watch an AEW match and it's just high fly after big move. You never know when it's gonna end. Like these Roman matches, when you're nearing the end, it's perfect. It's like perfection. He's a great storyteller. He really is.
He is the best.
It's awesome.
He is the best. Like I could not, once again, and I repeat myself every time we talk with Roman, but I'm watching him like everything was so perfect. The way he was yelling at the crowd's chant, like
awesome.
What was that? I hate Roman Reigns. Everyone stand up. Stand up.
It was stand up if you hate Roman Reigns.
Right. Yeah. Stand up if you hate Roman Reigns. And he's just, it's like,
and he sits down. He sits down on the apron. Yeah.
Like all of that was so great.
Yeah. He's great. And then they all stopped. They all stopped wrestling for like 10 minutes because
I was thinking at first, like, is this funny enough you said that. So the first 15 minutes, I'm like, is this boring but that's your point. They know
it's
how
a long
build.
process.
It's a long process. And what people say, and I don't think you understand this and you get this. Why I love pro wrestling is because it is amazing how you're literally taking an isolated 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes. And if it's done right, you are telling a story from beginning to end.
Yeah, that's why I love it. That's why it's like the best.
And which is why these WWE pay-per-views in particular, PLEs, excuse me, are out of this world, because they have built something into them, and then there is something.
Some PLEs are like the middle of the story, some are the end. Like this, like they've been telling this Bloodline story for 3 years. And it's not like him pinning him was a callback all the way to when Roman beat the crap out of Jay the first time.
I wonder, tell me this, give me your thoughts on this. What do you think went down in the decision? Do you think Roman's like, I'm okay with Jay pinning me? Like,
yeah, I think Roman is so back, like in the back. I think I think he loves it so much that he knows that that's where they had to do with it. They had to, give that extra, because now, Roman could have won, and it would have still continued, but now Jay winning, it just adds an extra layer that now you can build off of. Like Roman or Solo winning, I think it kind of it would have sizzled it out a little bit. But now Jimmy or Jay pinning him is
but
creating more to go off of.
But Jay, of the guys, is he the best wrestler of the bunch?
I think the Usos are the best two out of all of them. I mean, I think Jay is the best wrestler in that 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
He's great. He had a little callback to The Rock too, which I liked.
I loved it. And I literally was like, I was going to text you. It was like, okay, I don't know where you were at in it. And I didn't want to be like, oh my God, he got pinned.
Yeah, no, I was so shocked. I was just expecting him to kick out. And then, like you said, like when I didn't think he was going to kick out of the spike and the spear. I thought that was very, I just thought that was very big of WWE to give Jay that type of kick out. That's a big kick out. To kick out of both of their finishers. And I think he might be the first person to kick out of the spike.
I don't remember anybody doing that. And then I also was really confused. I don't know if you were. Were there moments in your mind when they did the close-ups of Solo Sikoa that were you not sure where his allegiance lied?
Yeah, they did tease it a little bit in the beginning of him getting mad. So they're gonna do it eventually, which is gonna be good. So I think what my theory is that I think eventually Solo turns, and I think, I don't know, because I just don't know how it's gonna work. Like if Solo turns, is he gonna be with Jay or Jimmy, or is he just gonna be like alone and then they do like, I don't know, one big match together? Like, I don't know.
I say Solo's out, he turns. Then the question becomes, does Heyman turn on him too?
I think Heyman's gonna be the last guy to stay. I personally would like to see Heyman be with Solo and just Solo. I think Solo can be very big and good. So I think that's kind of where my head is at for that one.
What about the return of the debut of the younger brother we haven't seen yet?
Yeah, I don't know how far along he has, but I wonder if he's gonna be too late, or like if they're gonna continue that. Or I don't know if they're still interested in The Rock getting involved or not. I don't know where they're doing with that. So
the only way The Rock would work now is if it was against Roman.
And that's why I think I wouldn't mind. I think slowly, if Jay does win, I still think Cody could beat Jay or Jimmy, and that's just ending the story. And you can have The Rock against Roman at WrestleMania as without the title. So it's so it's not because Roman's not going to lose if he has a title. So that's why I wouldn't mind that being that's still a possibility.
So you're giving this pay-per-view A?
I think I don't know. I give it A+ in my opinion. I had no problem.
I think it was A+.
Yeah, I had no problems with it. I think even the Gunther thing was saved by Drew, so it was
I think the match
matches.
The match I hated, not hated. The one that I just felt was a bit of a throw-in was Cody.
Yeah, it just sucks to see you get Cody in there with Dom, and then you don't have either women's championship match or the tag team champions on the match. You know what I mean? That's kind of weird.
And they were talking in the post media in the press conference clearly why wrestling is so hot right now, and I do believe it's because they've gone back to. I think the bloodline story has just been so enormous and everything else. I want to talk to you for a moment. Please tell me the feedback on AEW's new video game.
Oh,
So what happens?
so
Basically, everybody's
it comes out. People are already like not interested because it's been rumored.
oh. Well, I lost you there. I guess the connection went, or it was the AEW game. But I don't know. Elizabeth, you are saying they're putting it off till SummerSlam. Roman is not going to be Pittsburgh a payday. Elizabeth knows. Also, Cody Rhodes is going to wrestle against Brock Lesnar. That's not true. The reason why I do this is because only a few people who knew how the story was going to go, and that includes Roman. Okay. I hear ya, Elizabeth. I think you're coming. There you are. Oh, Luis is coming back.
Yeah, I left it kicked me out of the Zoom.
Well, you're not there. I just don't even see you.
Like my screen?
You're not. Yeah, I don't see you at all.
Changing this. I don't know what I was literally like talking.
Okay, wait. No. Do not have you. Oh, I see your camera is off.
Am I good now?
Yes. We have Elizabeth who's been chatting with us in the chat room. She's talking about Jay and Roman. She said, that's not true. The reason why Jay was pinning Roman is because only a few people who knew the story, only a few people who knew how the story was going to go, and that includes Roman, Triple H, and Vince.
I'm not sure.
Okay. And Roman is not going to be in Pittsburgh for WWE Payback.
Yeah, I didn't think so, yeah.
Brock will mention that he's going to be wrestling Cody in 2 days on Raw in Baltimore. That's what we hear
Sounds
you.
about right.
Right. Okay. So we were talking about the AEW, is it Fight Forever?
Fight Forever.
Right. So here's what happens. Fight Forever comes out. All the stars of AEW are pushing it. Louise contacts me, says, this isn't going over very well. And you see literally the clips, the memes, the videos of fans that don't like it. So why don't they like it?
So I mean, I didn't download.
You're a video. Wait, let's just hold on. You're a video game. You're a gamer.
Yeah, a very big one. Yeah, and especially like I only play like sports games, like wrestling and all those. Like my first WWE game was in like 2007. So like I've played every year. I've never missed a WWE game. Yeah.
Right.
So
you would be an aficionado. You would know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the way that people get about some of these games is because, for example, the WWE games are very like realistic. So like it looks like you're watching like an actual WWE like show. It moves the same. It's very slow. It moves like you're playing a real game, which I like. I like those games that look real and graphics. There's some people that are like attracted to like the old school like arcadey type of games where the guys like jump really high and are very like small but have big muscles, stuff like that. So that's kind of what they were going for. They were going for like an arcadey style game, but it's not being reviewed very well. People are returning the game. It's very glitchy. Guys fall through the ring. The online doesn't work. Some guys can't figure out the controls because it's like doesn't make any sense. And then the one thing is that their like main mode of like you create a guy and then you get signed by AEW and then have to like go through your career. It's only like an hour and a half of gameplay. Like it's like super short.
Wait a minute. So tell me. So you get a wrestler who goes through a career.
So you create your guy, and then you get signed by AEW, like in the story, and then you get to play as like a newly signed AEW star.
And you go
So
up against like Britt Baker.
yeah. You go against like all like the guys and stuff. But people also are upset because the roster is very outdated. So like Cody's in the game, and a couple other guys are in the game that are like very big. But it was a joke that was pretty funny. My uncle was like, for my career, did you have to wrestle in WWE first before you got signed by AEW?
But the funniest thing that you showed me was I literally watched this clip and the wrestler goes up and it gets thrown down, but he goes through the ring.
Just
So
fall into the ring.
is that supposed to be a joke, or there's just a problem with it? It's supposed
No,
to
there's just a problem with the game. Like that's not supposed to happen. And people are mad because there's glitches in games, but it's been in development for like 5 years, like 4 years. So like, what did you do like for the past 4 years? Nothing. You just like didn't care.
They were really promoting that. Like
Mhm.
I got a press release from AEW promoting Fight Forever, and to see not only what you're saying but others, it's kind of disappointing. It's their first game, right? It's their first game.
Probably first and probably
First
only.
last. So
Yeah.
which one in your opinion of the WWE games do you like?
I mean, the last one, 2K23, because it's made by 2K. So WWE has a very big company making their games. So this new game is one of the best rated ones. Like people love it. Like it's awesome. Like the gameplay is really smooth. Me and my friends play all the time. Like the online is really smooth. They look when you watch the entrances, it looks so real. Like it's like awesome. So it's the I was never really into those arcadey games, so it's like kind of dumb to me. Like I'm not gonna buy it.
I have a question. Do I have to be in the same, like, can I play the game with you even though I'm miles away?
Yeah, that's like online. Like I have a friend who lives in like England, and we play together.
Okay, because that's what I want to do. That'd be great. But I need to
You
know.
should,
So I want to get I don't want to get Fight Forever, huh?
no, get WWE 2K23.
Wrestle with Britt Baker.
It's also part of like I would buy the game just to buy it because I want to use the AEW guys and like the stuff, but it's not worth $70. It's like if the game was half off, like if the game was it's a $30 game that's $70. That's why people are mad. It's not worth the money. It's like the game is not worth $70 that you earned to spend that on. It's a $30 game. It really is. The entrances are like 5 seconds long. You don't even get the full entrance. Like the like when you start the game, Cody. It's like for example, Cody Rhodes will just be on the ramp already. It plays like 5 seconds of his song, and then that's it. You don't even get the full entrance. In WWE, like you get the whole entrance. It goes throughout the whole thing. So, and I just want to say because these companies compete with each other. And the day of AEW's release, WWE announced that Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy are getting they're getting added into the WWE game.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, the same day. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm dying to see it. I actually now that we've talked about this, I kind of want to get it and see how
No,
bad it is. I want
to buy it.
thing.
I want to buy it to play it because I want to see.
I do too. No, I do too. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do it, and then can we film it on a live stream?
Yeah. I mean, my friends do that sometimes. Yeah.
Let's do that. What we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna get AW Fight Forever, and we're gonna play it.
Yeah. No, that'd be hilarious. You could even talk.
That'd be hilarious. That would be hilarious. That's got to be one of our next. We got to. So look.
Do you have a console?
No, but I'll get one for this.
You have to get one. Yeah, you have to get one.
How much are they now?
Well, the newer ones, like because the new PlayStation is like expensive, but like you can always get the older one, and then like because they're like $100.
Which is probably what I need for AEW forever, or
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I just thought that was too bad because
it's pretty funny.
They were really waiting for that to come out.
Yeah.
So we have collisions going on tonight. We have Raw, which will be interesting to see what happens after this. And I guess, and then the next pay-per-views are SummerSlam and then Wembley, right?
Wembley, yeah.
And then AEW's doing a Chicago pay-per-view a few days later, All In and All Out, which is interesting. Okay, so I guess people should watch the channel for when we are on next.
Tuesday, I would say.
I would say Tuesday.
Yeah, because Monday after Raw would be like 12, so it's like, so I would say Tuesday.
Tuesday's the 4th of July. So do you want to? So we can either do a morning show.
Honestly, Tuesday morning show wouldn't be bad because that would be pretty cool. Just to,
I think we should
do it
Tuesday
early.
morning for 4th of July. We'll bring our flags and we'll.
I'll wear my
You wear red,
American
white,
flag
blue.
shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea though, because it's the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to do it at night. People are going to be out for 4th of July looking at fireworks. They're not going to be
watching
listening
the fireworks.
about CM Punk. Anyways, it was such a great show. I really, really enjoyed Money in the Bank, and so many.
Yeah, it was great.
I really sat here smiling, and I thought this was great. And
we've had a lot of very good pay-per-views in a row lately. Like think about just WWE. You get the last 3: Backlash, Crown Jewel, and then now this. It's been really good.
And Forbidden Door was good.
And Forbidden Door, yeah.
I mean, it was good for.
And then now we have SummerSlam and Wembley. Like that's like we're doing well right now.
We're doing well. We're doing well. All right. Good to talk to you. I'm glad you got to see the end. It was an amazing ending on the Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It was. I was just like, what? All right. All right. Well, we'll be back Tuesday morning.
Yeah. No, yeah, it works for me.
And we'll talk about Collision and Raw and whatever else has happened since then.
And maybe I'll buy the game by then. We'll see if I play it.
Maybe other guy. Yes, he can give us the update.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. You too.
Bye.